Breaking. It's happening right now. Fox News is being taken over and you won't believe by whom? Up until recently, the Fox News channel was considered the standard in conservative cable news. They hosted conservative names like Sean Hannity, Glenn Beck and of course Bill O'Reilly. Their mantra was that they would deliver the news in a fair and balanced way, and for a while, it looked like the unicorn of news aspirations might have been attained. They interviewed the conservatives and liberals alike and didn't let anybody get away with any double talk. The first clue that we might have gotten that there was trouble in paradise over at the biggest news company in the United States was when there was a clash of personalities between then candidate Donald Trump and anchor Megyn Kelly. Her bias started to show, and for a while, Trump refused to do any interviews with the company. Kelly eventually found a home elsewhere, but the problems didn't all go with her. The most recent and notable problem at Fox has been the scandals surrounding O'Reilly and others. Unfortunately, it looks like somebody has found the Achilles heel, and is hacking away at it. But is this slide away from conservatives all unintentional, and more importantly, unwanted? A report at Pamela Geller would suggest that it is not. By Cliff Kincaid, April 28. When Bill O'Reilly left Fox News he declared, "I am very confident the truth will come out, and when it does I don't know if you are going to be surprised, but I think you are going to be shaken as I am." Some observers think he was referring not to the sexual harassment allegations against him, but to behind-the-scenes maneuvers by one of Rupert Murdoch's sons, James, and his very liberal wife, Catherine. Her bio says, between 2007 to 2011, Ms. Murdoch served as Director of Strategy and Communications for the Clinton Climate Initiative, CCI, where she also managed CCI's partnership with Microsoft in the development of a global greenhouse gas emissions tracking software. In short, she is a globalist insider who sees the green hysteria as a viable way to control people and their lifestyles. We warned back in 2007 in our column, "Rupert Murdoch Picks Liberal Son as Successor," that James Murdoch was maneuvering to take control of Fox News. We also noted that James Murdoch buys into global warming hysteria, and that his liberal philosophy on environmental and other matters could become the party line of the Fox News channel. It turns out that his wife is more of an environmental zealot than he is. Accuracy in Media had attended the annual meeting of the Fox News parent company, raising concern about James Murdoch's increasing influence in the company and his attacks on conservative groups, such as the Competitive Enterprise Institute, CEI. He wrote an article for The Guardian attacking for dispensing inaccurate propaganda about the global warming issue. The Gateway Pundit website notes that Catherine Murdoch regularly trashes Trump on Twitter. Indeed, her Twitter feed goes after many different conservative personalities and policies of all kinds. A collection of her most significant tweets includes attacks on Trump aide Steve Bannon, and despondency over Trump's election victory. On the other hand, she praised Fox News personality Shepard Smith for criticizing Trump. Her tweets have included messages such as, "A vote for Trump is a vote for climate catastrophe. Can we impeach a candidate? Seriously. Happy to see this on Fox News. The final argument for Hillary Clinton, based on 3 indisputable facts." It doesn't sound like the news giant is going to get to keep their title of fair and balanced for much longer at this rate. In a climate where the President of the United States is even calling people out for being fake news, one would think that the credibility of the news would have an even higher premium put on it. Unfortunately, it seems that if you're liberal, your first and most important goal has got to be to further the liberal agenda. Truth, justice, and the American way be damned, they're going to push some pseudoscience and brainwashing down our throats even if it bankrupts them. If I could say one thing to Fox, it would be to watch their backs. They have already alienated much of their conservative base and ruined much of the trust that we had in them. They're going to have to tread softly if they don't want to be relegated in the minds of Americans as one of the irrelevant, agenda-peddling mainstream liberal puppets that all of the rest of cable news is looking like. It's only a matter of time before O'Reilly and others like him get together and give America what it has proven that we want, an actual news station. Horrific, 45 brutally shot to death, hundreds wounded, waiting for Trump to address the nation. The death toll continues to rise in one of America's deadliest cities that's more of a war zone than a place to call home. After President Trump issued a direct warning to these thugs to stop the carnage, they didn't listen and instead, stepped up their killing game, ending the month in a particularly brutal way. Now, on the last day of April, the nation awaits for our president's response to what has gone grossly unreported for a sickening reason. Officials in Chicago have overlooked the problems in their city for too long, and it's been at the cost of countless lives. As Barack Obama's former hometown, he didn't seem to want to address it either, and the rising murder rate is also a big part of his legacy, having made excuses for criminals and empowered Black Lives Matter. Now that there is a real leader in charge, President Donald Trump isn't letting murderous thugs get away with this killing spree at a rate of 1 fatality every hour and 45 minutes in the Windy City, according to stats provided by HeyJackass.com. While most people were making weekend plans, Chicago thugs were preparing for a bloodbath, knowing that nobody would stop them at their killing game. According to the Chicago Sun-Times, 3 people were killed and 8 others were wounded in shootings across the city since Friday evening, Chicago police told the outlet. This takes the death toll to 301 people shot, 45 of which have died, to date. The first killing of the weekend happened about 5:30 p.m. Friday in Longwood Manor on the south side. 2 men, ages 26 and 27, showed up at Roseland Community Hospital after the attack in the 200 block of West 98th Place, the Sun-Times explained. The older man died, and the younger was in critical condition with a gunshot wound to the abdomen, police said. The older man's identity has not been released. The killing spree continues well into Sunday at about 3:35 a.m. when a 27-year-old man was standing outside and heard the familiar sound of gunshots going off. Seconds later, he felt pain and realized he had been made a random target, but was fortunate enough for it to not be fatal, but suffered injuries to his left arm. Almost as shocking as the overwhelming crime rate in the city, is the fact that in 90% of these cases, where victims were either injured or killed, not a single suspect has been charged, Alan B. West reported. Perhaps this stat came out at the end of Barack Obama's presidency, after allowing thugs to run free and excuse it as what disgruntled millennials do when suffering from poverty. What's interesting to note is that not a single one of these shootings this month involved a police officer, which is a big statistical change since Trump has been in office. Now, things could be getting a lot worse for these thugs and better for the city suffering under their wrath, since our president has vowed to combat the gangster and thug issue that runs rampant in inner cities across the country. He's one of the first to take a bold stance against it, proving he's not afraid of these criminals, and it's only a matter of time before he publicly addresses this issue again after his executive orders on the matter and sending ATF, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms agents in to help. Among his flurry of important executive orders to get the country back on track, were 3 crucial ones targeting gangs, drugs, and crimes against cops. According to CNBC, the executive orders will focus on gang members, drug dealers, drug cartels, and crimes against law enforcement officers, Bustle reported. During Jeff Sessions' formal ceremony after his confirmation, President Trump announced his plans for these 3 executive orders, which give more authority to law enforcement. During his ceremony, Sessions said that the U.S. has a crime problem that may be a dangerous permanent trend, Bustle's reports added. In an effort to remedy this, Trump's latest executive orders will specifically target what he views as the leading causes of crime: gang members, drug cartels and dealers, and those who commit crimes against cops. If anyone is doing more for the Black community and proving Black Lives Matter than Barack Obama, it's his successor, President Trump. 88% of the victims in Chicago are Black and were all ignored while Obama was in office, pushing and supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. Trump will single-handedly save countless Black lives by cracking down on these thugs who kill other people, many of whom are random and just in the wrong place at the wrong time in the war zone. Breaking, 50 severely wounded and 6 killed so far, death toll rising, awaiting government response. Late Saturday evening tornadoes ripped through East Texas, leaving 6 confirmed dead and dozens upon dozens of others injured. Authorities have noted that the death toll could rise exponentially. 50 miles away from Dallas, Canton was hit pretty hard with overturned vehicles, tree wreckage, and mangled wires all over the road. Captain Brian Harden of the Canton Fire Department told reporters that those who didn't need to be in the area should leave, so that our teams can do what they need to do to take care of these people who are in need. A local triage center was set up at the high school in town to help those who had been injured. It was Canton Mayor Lou Ann Everett who noted the heartbreaking and upsetting damage that had been done to the city. The tornadoes hit and destructed an area 35 miles long and 15 miles wide. Some of the damages they have come across are down power lines as well as leaks at various houses. 54 patients were received after the storm at the ETMC Regional Healthcare Systems hospitals. One person was reported as in critical condition. Spokeswoman Rebecca Berkeley noted everyone else's injuries were non-life-threatening. Videos from the local news stations show the damaged area. There were uprooted trees, overturned cars, wet roadways and even flattened homes. A Dodge dealership had flipped pickup trucks, and the dealership was torn up. Search and Rescue Group Texas Task Force 2 was deployed by Texas Governor Greg Abbott. They have been deployed to not just Canton but the Van Zandt area as well. A total of 3 tornadoes is what caused all the damage. The National Weather Service is still on high alert. Texas TV reported that Emory and Fruitvale were hit as well. Ernestine Cook, who is a resident, told FET-TV the following about the tornadoes. "It hit so hard, so fast. It just kept moving. I've never seen anything like it after 22 years of living here." Because of the Texan tornadoes, those who were with their families while camping for the first Monday Trade Days event had to seek shelter and bathrooms. Some northern towns were even hit by the storm. Surveyors will conduct an investigation on Sunday to see how extensive the damage was. Missouri was also hit hard by storms of their own. Floodwaters rose in Christian County, and several people were left stranded in their cars. One car was swept away with a wife and a 72-year-old woman inside. The woman's body was found on Saturday near Clever, Missouri. Over 150 roads were closed in southern Missouri cause of the flooding. Over 93 evacuations took place and a total of 33 water rescues. As of Sunday morning, over 30 million Americans remain under warnings from the National Weather Service for flash floods. Rainfall was averaging 4 to 6 inches, with it peaking at 9 inches in some places. The National Weather Service's Storm Prediction Center noted that this is just the beginning. Severe thunderstorms capable of damaging winds and tornadoes are expected today into tonight, especially across the central Gulf Coast states. Other severe storms could occur as far north as the Midwest and southern Great Lakes region. AccuWeather senior meteorologist Dan Podynowski told USA Today that the good news for Texas, Arkansas, Missouri and Oklahoma is that things are shifting off to the east. That is bad news for Mississippi, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Alabama. All of southern Missouri is under a declared state of emergency thanks to Governor Eric Greitens. The worst flooding for them is on the West Plains in southern Missouri. Their power was shut down, and they have been completely shut off because of the floodwaters. The National Weather Service noted. Locations along Indian Creek, Bullskin Creek, Beaver Branch and the Elk River will experience unusual and life-threatening rises in flood levels. The cities of Anderson, Lanigan and Knoll are included in this flash flood emergency. As these storms continue to rage on, the injured and death toll are expected to continue to rise. A handful are already dead while dozens upon dozens are confirmed injured. The storms appear to be hitting new states while leaving wreckage behind.